This unsettling video was posted on TikTok by a woman named Tasha. In it, she shares how her dog Bella may have saved her from a potentially dangerous encounter near a river in the wooded area of Mount Pleasant, Michigan. At first, everything seems peaceful. Tasha is sitting by the water with Bella by her side, but the calm scene quickly turns tense when a man suddenly emerges from the river and starts walking toward them. Sensing something was wrong, Bella immediately jumps into action, barking aggressively and positioning herself between Tasha and the stranger.
What are you doing? You can't get out here, sir. No! Don't! Don't come! Don't come! What are you doing?
Even though Tasha tells him that he's not allowed to come ashore there, the man doesn't leave and starts acting strangely. At one point, he crouches down as if trying to hide and speaks in slurred, incoherent sentences. Bella keeps barking, keeping him at a distance, while Tasha calls for help.
What are you doing? You're not taking my tube, boy. I'm recording. It is. I seen all of you. I got all of you on camera.
I'm with them, right?
Then go get with them.
Later, when Tasha rewatched the footage, she noticed that Bella had started whining a few minutes before the man even appeared, almost as if she sensed the danger before it happened. The post was flooded with comments praising Bella's instincts. One person wrote something along the lines of, "Imagine if she didn't have that dog. Thank God she did. Someone give that pup a steak." According to Tasha, it was later revealed that the man was a known thief in the Mount Pleasant area. Thanks to Bella's alertness, the situation never escalated, and Tasha walked away unharmed. These images were captured by a trail camera in the wooded area near Waitsboro, North Carolina, back in August 2021. The cameras had been set up to monitor wildlife, which is evident from the deer feeder placed directly in front of the camera. But instead of animals, the camera captured a barefoot blonde woman wandering through the forest late at night. She was holding a long branch, using it for support as she walked. Interestingly, in the earlier photos, she wasn't carrying the branch yet, leading some to believe she may have injured her legs or feet later on. In one of the images, the woman appears to rush past the camera, almost as if she was hurrying somewhere or running from someone. Several months later, in May 2022, the remains of an unidentified woman were discovered not far from the same location after having been in the forest for nearly a year. Due to the advanced state of decomposition, investigators were unable to identify her, though parts of her clothing had remained intact. Detectives noticed that the clothing closely resembled what the woman in the photographs had been wearing. After the images were released online, internet users began trying to figure out who the mysterious woman was. One possible identity was Amber Ray Johnston, who disappeared in August 2021 after a strange Facebook livestream. Another theory pointed to Michelle Wright, a North Carolina resident who vanished earlier that same year in February 2021. But despite the many theories and the ongoing investigation, the identity of the woman in the photos and what truly happened to her remains a mystery to this day. This is Mike, a traveler who takes his viewers to unusual and sometimes risky places around the world. He shares his journeys on his YouTube channel, Fearless and Far. One of his trips to Turkey went far beyond a typical travel vlog and turned into a truly terrifying experience. Mike set out to explore an ancient castle. Very little is known about the castle's history, but locals are convinced that something sinister is hidden inside. Because of its dark reputation, it has even earned a nickname tied to danger and the supernatural. As evening approached and the sun dipped behind the mountains, Mike discovered a hidden path and began exploring the area. He was visibly tired and still needed to find a place to camp before the cold night set in. Despite that, he wanted to explore the castle and see if it could be a safe spot to stay. Wandering through its crumbling sections, Mike walked along ancient stone corridors, peeked into strange openings in the walls, and came across frayed wires, likely from an old lighting system. At the time, it seemed like a minor detail, but it would turn out to be crucial later. The castle stood in total isolation. By the time he set up camp and lit a fire, darkness had completely fallen. It was then that Mike realized his headlamp, one of his most important tools, had gone missing. With no light and no working lamp, he made a makeshift torch and went off in search of his gear. There was no nearby lighting, only his flickering flame and thick darkness all around, and that's when everything changed.
A gunshot. I didn't hear it, and I continued around the side of the castle in view of the path. Two more gunshots. They zip overhead.
Guys, someone came with a gun and fired shots at the castle. They're firing shots at me.
I have two choices. Stay in the castle and hold my ground, hoping this is just some simple misunderstanding, that they think I'm some mischievous kid.
They're coming closer. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Or grab my things and run. Maybe they're drunk, crazy locals. Or maybe worse.
The first gunshot was so subtle he almost didn't notice it. As he kept moving along the castle wall, stepping into a more open area, he suddenly heard two more shots, this time unmistakable. Bullets zipped overhead. Then came more shots, closer, more frequent. It became clear someone was either shooting at him or very near him. Mike had to decide, stay and hope it was a misunderstanding, or run. He didn't take chances. Grabbing only the essentials, he bolted into the night, leaving the rest of his gear behind.
What would you choose? What would you do? I ran.
I left everything behind, and now I'm trying to find a safe place to go. That's them there with a flashlight. You hear those gunshots? They don't want me here.
In the darkness, he spotted a light in the distance, someone with a flashlight sweeping the area. It was clear he wasn't welcome here. Mike quickly messaged a friend who lived nearby. The friend replied that police were already conducting a search in the area, apparently looking for a suspect, possibly a looter or something worse. Authorities had mistaken Mike himself for that person.
Hello. Merhaba.
Mike, where are you from?
From Canada.
Canada.
You made me very slick as a big gun.
Yok,
No,
sorun
no.
yok. No problem.
No problems.
Turkish. Hoş geldin. You are welcome.
Nereye? Aşağı mı inmiştin?
Yeah.
Çağırdık seni.
Sen neredeydin?
Can I make video?
No.
No? No, okay. You thought I was a you thought I was a thief.
Yeah.
The only thing I was taking was photos. How many bullets did you shoot?
4 or 5.
4 or 5 bullets. And then you? 3. So 5 from a pistol and 3 from a AK-47 or something similar.
Mike diyor. Fuck you children.
Exactly. I was like, what the fuck? And then I ran so fast in the dark with no light up a cliff. I could have freaking died.
Soon after, military personnel arrived. They ordered him back to the camp, surrounded him with weapons drawn, and began questioning him. But once they realized who he was, just a Canadian tourist with a camera, trying to spend the night in an old castle, their tone changed. Surprisingly, the soldiers were kind. They even gave him a ride to a hotel and told him to rest after everything he'd been through. The next day, Mike began piecing everything together. Those wires he found at the entrance? They were part of the lighting system. Locals, seeing a strange car and a man with camera equipment, assumed he was a treasure hunter. When the authorities arrived and discovered that the castle's lighting had gone out, their suspicions deepened. The lighting is intentionally kept on at night, to discourage intruders. But that night, the lights weren't working. Mike was inside, and the control box at the entrance had been damaged. The police concluded someone had deliberately disabled the lights to move around undetected. It was all one big coincidence, but an incredibly unfortunate one. Mike admitted he couldn't stop thinking about how differently things might have ended. What if it hadn't been the military who found him, but real criminals or hostile individuals? Luckily, he walked away unharmed, and now has one of the most intense stories ever shared on his channel. A man named Eric took his son deer hunting on a piece of private land where they had official permission to be, but from the very beginning, something felt off. There was already a stranger on the property, armed.
Hey man, who are you?
Who the hell are y'all?
Eric, and this is my son. We're about to go down here and hunt. Do you have permission to hunt here?
Yep.
From who?
Landowner.
Who's the landowner?
He's up by the road, I think.
The landowner.
I guess that was his name, yeah.
So gave you permission?
Yep.
He's told me, last time I talked to him, he said he's not going to give in any permission to anyone other than me and my son.
I guess he told you wrong.
Okay, then I'll call him.
Hey, why are you filming me?
He can film whoever he wants. Hey, stay back, man, because we don't know you. You don't know us. We're just trying to go to our stand and hunt and have a peaceful day. Keep them.
When Eric tried to speak with him, things escalated quickly. The man claimed he also had permission from the landowner. Eric seriously doubted that, having heard nothing about any other authorized hunters. He immediately called the landowner to confirm, and the response was clear. The stranger had no right to be there. While Eric was still on the phone, the man's demeanor changed dramatically.
Hey, have you given permission to this, somebody come out here and hunt besides me and my son? Just a guy in a camo jacket, blue jeans, boots, got a gun. He's not even wearing orange. Okay, man. You do not have permission to hunt here. Who, do you live around here?
I'm going to my truck.
Where's your
I
truck?
don't trust you.
Well, we dang sure don't trust you because you're not allowed to hunt here.
I just wanted to have a day of deer hunting.
And besides, the road's not even that way. How did you get into this property?
The damn road is over there.
I don't know what road you're talking about.
I'm getting away from y'all.
You're acting like we're the issue, dude. You're hunting property where you're not supposed to be. You're trespassing.
Y'all are shit.
He became visibly nervous, increasingly aggressive, and at one point even drew his weapon. Eric confronted him directly, stating that he was trespassing and illegally hunting on private property. Instead of owning up to it, the man acted as if Eric and his son were the ones causing trouble. He refused to explain how he got onto the land, and eventually tried to walk away. The tension kept rising, and for a moment, it felt like the situation could spiral out of control. Fortunately, it didn't. The man left without further incident. Still, the encounter with an armed trespasser could have ended very differently. It was a dangerous reminder of how quickly things can go wrong in the woods. Almost every night, a sleepwalking neighbor shows up in the backyard and starts doing genuinely disturbing things. A woman named Mandy, who lives in western Massachusetts, began sharing dozens of unsettling videos on TikTok, all captured by security cameras around her home. In each clip, the same pattern repeats. The neighbor lives nearby, yet for some reason, she regularly walks over to Mandy's house late at night and wanders around the property, behaving in a strange and unsettling way. It was later revealed that the woman suffers from a severe form of sleepwalking, and for reasons no one can explain, she seems drawn specifically to Mandy's yard. In the footage, she can be heard making disturbing noises, growling, hiding as if someone is after her, approaching the front door, and whispering in an eerie voice, asking to be let inside. Mandy has repeatedly asked her neighbor to either secure her home at night or seek medical help, but the issue has been ignored.
All right, so she ran up through there, and then she came behind that tree, and she ran this way. It looked like she went either behind that shed with the garage door or between the two sheds, but I'm not 100% sure. I know she ran in this direction. However, it was so far away that I couldn't tell if she actually went behind and into the woods or if she just went down the driveway and onto the road.
She has also contacted the police multiple times, yet nothing has changed, and the nightmare continues. On May 26, 2025, a man named Ray Savage released footage no one expected to see. What had seemed like an ordinary, peaceful night in the wilderness turned into something far more disturbing, something hiding in the shadows.
Actually, pretty happy about this spot. I found a deer trail. Look where it goes. So I, parked down that way, walked up here. It keeps going on up there. And I want to look up that way up the trail.
Ray's intentions were harmless. Just another solo camping trip. His camera was set up to record wildlife. The location was a remote forest trail, rarely touched by people, perfect for observing deer and other animals. He carefully positioned his trail camera and an audio recorder, hoping to capture natural sounds and movement while camping nearby.
So here's the trail cam. Got it set up. It's facing over there perfectly. But I've got a nice little treat for you guys. There's the sound recorder. Okay, so I'm going to have the trail cam going. I'm also going to have the sound recorder going. I'm going to listen to the audio first, and then the trail cam.
For Ray, the night passed without incident. He enjoyed the fresh air and the quiet of the forest, completely unaware of what was happening only a few meters from his campsite. The following day, back at home, he began reviewing the recordings. Among the usual clips of wildlife was something entirely out of place. Something unsettling. The camera had captured a man walking through the forest in the middle of the night, barefoot and shirtless. He was holding an axe, no flashlight, no gear, no clear reason to be wandering through a remote forest at 4 a.m. The figure moved slowly and with purpose across the frame, like a scene from a horror film. The most chilling part was that this person had been out there while Ray slept, just a short distance away. Fortunately, Ray never encountered the mysterious figure face to face, but it was enough for him to cross that trail off his list for good, because sometimes the real danger in the wilderness doesn't come from nature itself, but from other people. She thought she was stranded alone in the desert, until the sounds of coyotes started echoing around her truck in the middle of the night. Roaming Reckless is a channel focused on solo overlanding and remote camping adventures, usually alongside her dog, Tazzy. On October 26, 2025, she headed out for a weekend trip into the Colorado desert. What began as a normal camping trip quickly turned into a real test of patience and caution after a powerful thunderstorm swept through the area the night before. The campsite she chose had great reviews, but it also came with one clear warning. If it rained, vehicles could easily get stuck. By morning, the desert's clay-like soil, known locally as gumbo, had turned into thick, sticky mud. Even walking through it with Tazzy was difficult, and trying to drive the truck out could have ended very badly. To make things worse, the area was under a flood watch. Flash flooding was possible, and there was no way to leave until the ground dried out. Throughout the day, she carefully monitored the situation. She first checked the water level in a nearby dry creek bed, while making sure Tazzy stayed safely away from the edges. She cleaned muddy paws, organized the truck, washed dishes, and sorted through her gear. At the same time, she kept watching the sky, worried another storm could roll in at any moment. All they could really do was wait. The rest of the day was spent inside the truck while Tazzy rested, and she continued checking the water levels from a safe distance. With the flood risk and the deep mud, leaving wasn't an option. So she tried to stay productive by organizing equipment and getting work done through Starlink. Late that night, everything suddenly went quiet. Then, the sounds started. A whole pack of coyotes had moved in close, their calls echoing through the darkness. She sat frozen inside the cab, listening as they circled around her, far too close, and far too calm to feel safe.
Oh my gosh, I see them. Yeah, I literally see them out there. Funny.
By morning, things finally began to improve. The sun came out, the creek started receding, and the mud slowly began to dry, opening a possible route out. She and Tazzy were safe. By mid-morning, she started planning their way out of the campsite, confident the ground could finally support the truck, and that the danger had passed. This is Josh, the creator behind the YouTube channel Josh the Intern, where he shares his travels and outdoor adventures. In one of his videos, he heads deep into a forested region somewhere in Sri Lanka to find one of the country's oldest prehistoric caves, Belly Lena, also known as the Cannibal Cave. The video is titled, "I Explored a Secret Cannibal Cave and Things Go Horribly Wrong." As Josh ventures deeper into the forest, two men suddenly emerge from the bushes and begin following him. They move at the same pace as he does, stopping when he stops. Soon, they catch up to him, and one of them says that Josh should come with them. Supposedly, they have something to show him. Josh begins to feel uneasy and turns on his camera.
I've been joined by some friends. They're showing me around. Very cool.
He tries to remain calm, acting like he's just filming the surroundings, and continues toward the cave he had worked so hard to reach. However, every time he lowers the camera, the men once again urge him to come with them to see something interesting. Josh admits that he felt awkward, but still decided to give them a chance and follow along.
I think these guys want to show me something. All right, we going this way?
When he finally saw what they wanted to show him, everything changed suddenly. It turned out to be an abandoned house, and the men invited him to go inside first.
I'll follow you, after you.
At that moment, out of the corner of his eye, he notices one of them beginning to move behind him. Instinct kicks in. He needs to leave immediately.
You get one more shot, okay? One more shot. Oh, sorry, I'm just shooting, filming, and doing more. And then I'll come, okay?
Josh calmly pretends to continue filming and slowly starts backing away toward the exit. He acts like he's setting up another shot, and when the men are distracted, he decides to act.
I'll come soon. I just want to shoot this. But you go, I'll stay. And then I come later. I'm just filming everything. Okay? Okay.
At first, he walks at a normal pace, saying he forgot something on the trail. But soon he hears footsteps behind him. That's when he breaks into a run.
All right, guys, so I have made it to safety. I wanted to wait until I was off the isolated road because there's only one way up and one way down to that cave. The adrenaline is rushed out of me. I ran down that mountain. That's why I'm very, very sweaty.
After reaching a safe place, he explains that he had purposely waited until he was farther from the secluded road. There's only one path leading to and from the cave. He feels the tension release. He was drenched in sweat because he had literally run down the mountain. Josh says that during his travels in Sri Lanka, he met many kind and friendly people, but this encounter felt entirely different. Perhaps the men truly were friendly and simply wanted to show him something interesting. Maybe they were just headed that way themselves and saw Josh as a fellow traveler. However, his gut told him something else. That's why he chose not to take the risk and left the place. He emphasizes that trusting your instincts is especially important when you're alone in remote locations. And that's exactly what he did. He trusted himself. So what do you think? Was this just a case of ordinary friendliness, or did Josh narrowly avoid something dangerous? While scouting out potential spots for riding, a motorcyclist comes across something unsettling. The creator of the YouTube channel Theo Freakin' Door is riding through a wooded area when he notices something unusual in the distance. He and his friend decide to check it out on foot, but as they walk, an eerie sense of unease sets in, like they're being watched. With each step, the feeling intensifies. Eventually, they stumble upon a large, square patch of freshly disturbed earth.
What is that? No way. I didn't really see it until you said something. Dude, that was straight up hold on. I want to get a good I want to get a good view of it. Dude, somebody was digging a grave out here. Oh god.
They only stick around long enough to film it, but the sight leaves them shaken. According to them, the hole is far too large to be meant for a dog or any kind of household pet. It gives off the chilling impression that someone might have been buried there, and not long ago. This YouTuber from the channel Exploring with Bear, known for documenting forest explorations, camping trips, and strange discoveries, stumbled upon something truly unsettling this time. During one of his hikes, he came across an abandoned campsite, a tent, an old bicycle, scattered belongings. Everything looked as if someone had left in a hurry and never came back.
Hello? Man, I hope there isn't somebody else frozen in here. Okay, things have changed. Somebody's still using it. Man, it stinks in there.
A few days later, he learned that just a few miles from that exact spot, a man had recently been found dead, a victim of extreme cold. Coincidence? Hard to believe. All signs point to that being his camp. It's possible the man left in search of help and never made it. The place felt heavy with tension. Standing there even for a couple of minutes was almost unbearable. The cold, the silence, the dense woods all around, and the tent, now a haunting reminder of someone's final night. Bear filmed everything, sharing his thoughts with the camera, unable to shake the feeling that this wasn't just a random find, as if the trail itself had led him there for a reason, to tell this story. In 1986, 19-year-old Christopher Knight disappeared from his home in Maine and chose to live deep in the woods, for no clear reason. To survive, he stole food from dozens of nearby cottages and campsites. During these break-ins, he also took clothing, camping gear, propane tanks, batteries, and other supplies. Locals eventually became aware of his presence. Some even began leaving out food and essentials on purpose, hoping to prevent him from breaking into their homes at night. Despite the fact that people knew about his existence, one thing was certain. Christopher did not want to be found. He went to great lengths to remain hidden. For example, he never started a fire, fearing the smoke would give away the location of his camp. Winters in the area were brutally cold, with temperatures dropping as low as 10 degrees Fahrenheit, around minus 12 degrees Celsius. Still, he refused to make fires. Instead, he'd wrap himself in multiple sleeping bags to stay warm. As surveillance cameras became more common over the years, some of his thefts started to show up on footage. Then, 27 years after he vanished, he accidentally triggered a motion sensor while attempting to steal food from a camp. Police responded and found him right there. It was his first human contact in decades, and it led straight to his arrest. Authorities had finally located the man behind thousands of petty thefts in the region. In the end, Christopher was sentenced to 7 months in jail and 3 years of probation. Later, a blogger searching for a wild camping spot stumbled upon Knight's old campsite by chance. It was packed with items collected over the decades, from stolen gear to everyday essentials. It was confirmed to be Christopher Knight's hidden camp. This guy recently uploaded a deeply unsettling and shocking video to his YouTube channel titled, "I found a camera belonging to a missing person." He actually discovered a GoPro deep in the woods, and what was on it was seriously disturbing. He was walking alone when he noticed an abandoned tent camp along the way. Switching on the camera on his phone, he began documenting everything he saw. Belongings were scattered everywhere. The campfire had long since burned out, and the whole area was covered with fallen leaves. It looked as though the people had vanished in an instant. The most horrifying part was that, inside the camp, he stumbled upon a dead, torn-apart dog, which he buried in the ground. A little further on, he came across the GoPro camera. Before handing it over to the police, the young man played the recordings and saw mysterious footage that might help shed light on where the man had disappeared. He saved the files onto his computer and then gave the evidence to the investigators. The nature reserve where it all happened covers about 10 square miles. It was here, just 4 days earlier, that the man had vanished without a trace. Search teams and police found no clues whatsoever. The footage from the camera had to be shortened because of repetition, but the strangest and most unsettling moments were left intact. Who was he filming all this for? What exactly happened to him? Perhaps someone had been following him, or maybe a wild animal approached his tent at night. It's possible he was running from someone and dropped the camera on the tracks near the bridge. Or maybe he vanished into the ground entirely, never to be found again. There are thousands of theories, but not a single answer. What is certain is that this was the place where everything happened, and this was the very spot later examined by police, who carried out a full inspection of the camp. The young man who found the camera was also questioned. To this day, nothing is known about the missing person. No official details have been released. Metal Detecting in the Netherlands is a YouTube channel with a name that speaks for itself. One of its videos, titled found treasure chest while metal detecting, has already racked up over 13 million views. In the 6-minute clip, the creator captures an unexpected discovery in a quiet, wooded area. While walking alone through the forest with his metal detector, he came across a hidden spot, and the detector immediately signaled something below. He began digging, but soon his shovel hit a large metal plate.
It looks like some sort of plate or something. Look at that.
Refusing to give up, he cleared away the dirt and fallen leaves to reveal the edges of the plate and eventually lifted it. To his surprise, beneath it was a small, neatly dug out space containing a medium-sized chest.
Whoa. Whoa, what the hell? Oh my god. That looks like a treasure chest to me. Oh my god. What is that? Let's take it out of the hole. It's very heavy. God. Look. Look at that. What could that be? Oh, there's some writing over there. And there's some heavy locks on there too.
Inside, taped to the bottom, was a long note explaining the purpose of the chest. It turned out to be part of a global GPS-based treasure hunting game. The rules were simple. Find the container, share it with others, take something from inside, and leave something in return. Kind of like a take a penny, leave a penny system. The note also encouraged the finder to join the community and keep the game going. So no, he didn't strike it rich with gold or ancient artifacts, but he did uncover something fascinating, a game that many people don't even know exists. Deep in the woods, this YouTuber stumbled upon a landline phone. He picked up the receiver, and what he heard chilled him to the bone. Bohemian Grove is a private, all-male club that gathers once a year in the forests of Monterey, California. Surrounded by secrecy, the place has long been the subject of conspiracy theories, mostly because no one really knows what goes on during these exclusive meetings. The property is protected year-round with surveillance cameras and guard dogs. A YouTuber known as Dancer claims to have repeatedly trespassed onto the grounds, documenting what he found. He explored cabins that, according to him, lock from the outside, and described a deeply unsettling atmosphere, both inside the buildings and in the surrounding forest. He also filmed several other mysterious structures on the property, from massive wooden buildings to strange industrial setups with no clear purpose. One of the most unforgettable moments came when he came across a phone hidden in the woods, playing eerie music.
Like a minute or two ago, there was some pretty creepy noises in the trees. Probably just some animals, but you can never be so sure. Here's an AED. Oh, there's no AED in here. That looks like a poisonous spider. Fuck you, dude. Hello? Huh. All right. Phone will ring in hospital and security. Well, I should have read that before I touched it. I might have just blown my cover.
When he picked it up, he realized he might have triggered something and feared getting caught. Luckily, no one showed up. According to him, he returned to the site multiple times, but the mystery of what really happens there still hasn't been solved. His videos quickly gained traction online, but shortly after, he received a letter, the contents of which remain unknown.
It's a real mail, guys. It's crazy. It is our information that, in spite of the private nature of the Bohemian Club, you have made unauthorized entries into the Bohemian Grove, and that while you were on the property, you took unauthorized video recordings of the Grove and events happening at the Grove. We also understand that you have posted these unauthorized recordings on various social media sites.
What is known is that he was forced to delete every video related to Bohemian Grove from his channel. Only re-uploads posted by other users on various platforms remain today. The man behind the Red Poppy Ranch YouTube channel had already made several attempts to find something strange and unsettling that, according to local stories, was supposedly discovered on his own property. After 3 unsuccessful searches, he decided to hop on his ATV and give it one more try. This time, he spotted an old fence post, the same one a friend had mentioned. It used to be part of a livestock corral, which meant he was finally close to the area he'd been looking for. Sure enough, just a few minutes later, he came across an overgrown patch of land that looked different from everything else around it. That's where he found a small grave.
Oh, what do we got here? There we go. So now, I'm gonna go see if I can figure out what happened.
The marker carried the name of a boy who was only 1 year old, born in the late 1940s. Red Poppy Ranch lives in a small town where it seems like everyone knows each other. But when he started asking around, no one recognized the last name written on the cross: Gold. He searched through local records but found nothing. No documents, no explanations. The only thing he was able to confirm was that the winter of 1949 had been particularly harsh in that region. It's possible the child didn't survive the cold, but why he was buried alone, deep in the woods, far from any cemetery or community, that remains a mystery, and chances are, we may never know the full story. There's a YouTube channel called Safety Third, run by a guy named Jed. He specializes in solo explorations of remote, hard-to-reach locations, mostly abandoned mines deep in the wilderness. His videos offer a raw, unfiltered look at the dangers he faces: cave-ins, collapsing tunnels, tight spaces, and total isolation. But one particular trip wasn't just risky, it genuinely shook him. It started like any of his other adventures. Jed set out to explore a set of old mines in a remote valley. Along the way, he crossed an icy creek, trekked through dense woods, and climbed over an old railroad bridge. At one point, he heard a loud crash. Something massive had come loose and tumbled down the hillside.
Something's knocking wood up there. I don't know, that's weird.
At first, he figured it was probably just a fallen tree, but deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone. The deeper he went, the stranger things got. Somewhere in the woods, he heard sharp, rhythmic knocking, like something hitting wood. He tried to explain it away, maybe an animal, but the unease was growing. When he finally reached the mine entrances, the atmosphere changed completely. Almost all of them were sealed shut, thick metal bars, concrete walls, welding. It felt like someone didn't just want to keep people out, maybe they wanted to keep something in. At one of the sealed entrances, he peered inside and saw a huge, solid tunnel stretching into the darkness.
But there's artifacts. How do we get over this? I bet that sucker goes somewhere too. This old electrical, freaking concrete man door. I can't tell how old that is. How is this even in there? Is it bolted? Oh, it's welded and then they bolted into the rock.
Then, out of nowhere, a chilling scream echoed through the trees. It didn't sound like an animal. It didn't sound human either. Whatever it was, it froze him in place. That moment flipped the entire experience.
Hand is dry. What the freak? That was weird.
What started as an adventure quickly turned into a warning. Jed decided not to push his luck and made his way back to the trail. No, he didn't explore the mines that day, but he walked away with something far more important. The gut feeling that leaving was the right call. He never did find out what that sound was. A person? An animal? Something else entirely? One thing's for sure. Whatever's behind those sealed entrances is being kept there for a reason. On November 27th, 2024, a man took his daughter on her very first bow hunt on public land in South Dakota. He later uploaded the video, which has since gained over 1 million views, to his YouTube channel, Homeschool Hunter. Shortly after they began their hunt, a motion-activated trail camera suddenly went off, a possible sign that another hunter was already nearby. The father and daughter tried to remain as quiet as possible, but soon a man appeared. He accused them of interfering with his hunt, even though the area was open to everyone. Tensions quickly rose as he insisted they had no business being there. He was upset that his trail camera was losing battery and angry that they had set up close to it.
This is hunter harassment.
No, it isn't. I'm checking my camera because it's getting low.
Okay.
You're harassment because you come in here and are fucking up my hunting area.
This is not your hunting area. This is public land. What are you talking
Well,
about?
this ain't public land. This is private.
This is
but
walk-in land.
Walk-in now.
It's walk-in land.
You're not teaching a young hunter very good etiquette.
You are hunter harassing.
No, I'm not.
I was up here hunting.
Yep, and I'm
And
coming
you
here to
came
check.
up.
Claiming he'd been hunting that area for a long time, he said this kind of thing happened to him often. He criticized the father and daughter for lacking hunter etiquette, to which they responded that his own behavior was far from respectful or ethical. This sparked a broader argument over the use of public land. Having gear set up, or having hunted there before, they argued, doesn't give anyone exclusive rights.
Up here. Yeah, you
My
can't come up
camera's
here.
getting low on battery.
I'm sitting next to it. It doesn't,
Yep.
doesn't mean
And
you
I
can come
need
up
to
and
change
check it. Go ahead and change it. Hop out of here.
I will.
Go ahead.
I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you.
Not very good at hunter etiquette. I've been
Exactly.
hunting
You're
here
up here talking in full voice, and
I
you're
don't
complaining
give
about
a-
my hunter etiquette. I'm hunting.
I don't care.
Well, I'm glad.
I've been hunting for so many years. Everybody's doing this to me all the time.
I get it. Well, now it's your turn, I guess, because just because other people do it to you doesn't mean you should do it to other people.
Well, then show a little etiquette. This is hunter etiquette. Look at the camera.
I can
right
sit
there.
here.
You want me to take pictures of that? I'll take
Yeah,
pictures of
take-
you too.
Go ahead. Doesn't bother me. I'm not doing anything illegal. You're the one who's hunter harassing.
No, I'm not. This is my camera. It was.
You
up-
should
it's
know
been
that
up
I'm
here since
hunting here
April.
then. You should know that I'm up here hunting then. I saw it going off. You knew I was here.
No, I
Yes, you did. I saw the infrared going off in the dark this morning. You know I was here.
I
Just
know you've
just
been
change your
here in the
batteries and leave.
past 'cause I seen you walk past
Just
a couple
change your
times.
batteries and leave.
So I will.
Appreciate it.
This is not a good way to teach a youngster.
Yes, it is. We're hunting on public land.
Yeah.
You're the one who's coming up here messing up our hunt.
There was somebody hunting here with all this
It
stuff.
doesn't matter
that's
if
going around.
no, there's nobody else hunting here right this
No,
morning.
not right now.
Of course not right
But
now.
you know where how you're
Just
sitting
because
here?
somebody hunted here in the past means I can't hunt on public land. Give me a break. Get out of here.
In the past, it's not past. And actually, this just went into. Freddie used to have this.
I don't care if it
regular
was
private.
never public land for 1,000 years. It's public land right now.
Yep.
I'm hunting public land.
And
You
do
came
know
up here
which
and
way
messed
the
with
wind
me.
is blowing?
It doesn't matter.
Do you know which way the wind is blowing?
It doesn't matter how I hunt. I can hunt.
Here, that's gonna go. They're gonna blow out.
Doesn't matter how I hunt.
So
Doesn't matter how I hunt.
I don't know. Apparently, you're gonna have fun getting something.
The father and daughter maintained that they were following the law and not disturbing anyone, while the man insisted they should have known he was there, since his camera had recorded them earlier that morning. The argument continued for a while, but eventually the man left. The father and daughter chose to end their hunt for the day and return at another time. A man named Andrei Kalachikov, a hunter, uploaded the video to his YouTube channel on August 3rd, 2022, titled Man-Eating Bear Caught in a Trap. But the real story isn't in the title. It's in the small details you notice if you watch carefully. At first glance, it looks like a typical scene from deep rural Russia. An old welded cage, a muddy clearing, thick forest, and a massive bear inside the trap. But according to Andre, the trap wasn't set for bears at all. It was meant to catch wolves that had been tearing through livestock in the area for weeks. Instead, what they caught may have been one of the most ferocious, aggressive bears imaginable.
Хороший, ну. Такой сожрет нахуй. Пизда зубы. Я зубы.
You can see it thrashing against the metal, trying to tear the cage apart. The way it looks at the hunters, cold, focused, like it's just waiting for a chance to lunge, is enough to make anyone freeze. And yet, despite how dangerous the situation was, they made the decision to release the animal back into the wild. Frank recorded the video on the spur of the moment, and it was later uploaded to his friend's YouTube channel, Strange Wilderness. Early in the trip, the two decided to split up and hunt in different parts of the river valley, watching for game from tree stands they had set up. As evening approached, Frank began hearing strange noises coming from the woods, dull thuds, and the sharp crack of breaking branches. He turned on his camera to document what was happening. The sounds grew louder and clearer, especially as he started making his way down from his stand. Trying to pinpoint where the noises were coming from, he noticed a fallen tree in the distance and felt a wave of unease.
I'm getting down.
Deciding it was time to regroup, Frank headed out on his ATV toward the spot where Dawn was set up, hoping to meet before nightfall. When he reached his friend's stand, it was empty. Dawn was nowhere in sight, and the same unsettling noises were now echoing much closer than before. Along with the snapping branches came another sound, something deeper and far more disturbing.
Dawn? Dawn?
Shit, man. Just heard something again.
At first, Frank wondered if someone was messing with him, but the feeling of danger kept building, so he hurried back to his ATV. When he tried to start it, the engine wouldn't turn over.
Hey! Is that you?
Stranded without transportation, he had no choice but to continue on foot. The sounds followed him. At one point, he caught sight of something that made his stomach drop and realized they were not alone in those woods. Whether it was an animal or something else entirely, he couldn't tell.
Out of here.
Moving deeper through the forest, Frank came across large animal tracks. He didn't stop to study them. The noises were getting closer. As he tried to put distance between himself and whatever was trailing him, it became clear he wasn't gaining any ground. Eventually, he realized running wasn't working. He stopped, raised his weapon, and fired at a fast-approaching silhouette, but missed.
It's stalking me, whatever it is.
Later, he stumbled upon a strange structure made of branches, similar to formations he had noticed earlier near the river. Nearby were smaller constructions, decorated with animal remains. Not far from there, he saw something that looked disturbingly like an altar. Determined to get out, Frank searched for a trail leading back to safety. After what must have felt like forever, he finally made it back to the same valley where they had started their hunt. That's where he found Don, or what was left of him. Two friends had gone up into the mountains. Only one came back. Don disappeared that night and was never seen again. The video description reads, "Fortunately, Frank Wildchild survived to tell his story, accompanied by video footage documenting his escape through the rugged forest in the dark of night. His longtime friend and hunting partner, Donald Big Calf, was not as fortunate. He was never seen again." Rip Don Big Calf. The creator of the YouTube channel Paul So Hard films motorcycle rides through challenging, hard-to-reach locations, sometimes alone, sometimes with friends. He explores abandoned areas, ventures into restricted zones, and rides into places most people wouldn't even dare to enter on foot. His content is usually all about adrenaline, speed, and risk. But in one particular video, something happened that completely changed the tone of the ride. That day, Paul and his friend were simply riding through an overgrown area, seeing how far they could push into it. They kept going deeper into a remote stretch of wilderness that almost no one would willingly enter. Before long, they came across a set of railroad tracks and decided to follow them for fun. After a few minutes, they chose to turn around and head back. That's when Paul noticed something in the grass. At first, they assumed it was trash or possibly animal remains. But as they took a closer look, they realized the discoveries seemed disturbing and unnatural. Lying in the grass was something that appeared to be part of human remains.
Like, that is a human skull. Holy crap, that is actually a human head. That is a skull.
I don't think I've ever seen one before.
Bro, that's teeth and everything, like.
That's the murder weapon.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's super scary. Should we take a photo at least?
Yeah. Like, I think we gotta go to the authorities on this one. My buddy who's a cop, should we call him? And say we were riding in the woods and we found a human head?
But it's definitely homeless. They're missing some skull.
Some teeth,
I've never seen a human skull outside of a...
But where's the rest of the body? It's just a skull, like if somebody just dumped a skull here.
Yeah, so it can't be that bad. Unless some sort of animal got to him.
Yeah.
The realization set in gradually. What initially felt impossible became harder and harder to deny. The two friends began to understand that they might be looking at human remains. The situation no longer felt like a casual ride. They decided to call the police and avoid touching anything.
Police, I found a human... we're off in the woods, we're riding dirt bikes and we just found a human skull.
Okay, do you know where exactly you are? The park that you're at?
No idea, really. We were just kind of riding in some creek bed, ended up here. I can get a pin and like have some place for the officers to meet us, but it's definitely a hike to get here, and it's just a skull we see. I don't see any other parts of a body.
And you're fairly positive that it's real without by looking at it, or you're...
Yeah, it's got like fillings in the teeth and stuff, and it looks fairly real. I'm no doctor, but it definitely looks like a skull.
I got you.
Like some teeth are missing, some have fillings, some don't.
Okay, what is your name?
I'm Paul.
When officers arrived, they surveyed the area and returned to the discovery site with Paul and his friend. But that wasn't the end of it. In the grass, they found not only a skull. Scattered nearby were bones, vertebrae, shoes, and other human remains.
Right through there, that's got
Oh,
piece of bone.
yeah.
There's the rest of his backbone right there. Yeah. Must have washed out. Over here?
Yeah. Yeah, if you look
I guess was
all the way up. See right there to your left, and then right there behind that.
Oh, there's another one, yeah.
shoe. Holy shit. Oh, there's a bunch in there. Holy cow.
There's another one there. There's one over there. Holy crap.
Mine was someone jumped off the train. That was my first.
How's it going?
For you though, bud, I don't know where back here in this green belt they'd be shooting.
Yeah, no, I saw bullet holes up there. Yeah, normally we'd in and out of here, but y'all find anything else?
We really haven't been stepping around it, just keeping it as clean as possible. He was wondering if you could get your phone number.
Yeah. I'm scared. There's bones in that shoe.
Yeah, I didn't even think.
A full investigation was launched. Specialists and forensic experts were brought in, and the area was carefully searched. Later, it was determined that the remains belonged to an elderly man who had been suffering from dementia. He had wandered off and ended up in the remote area. It is believed that he fell, sustained a head injury, and passed away. Over time, wildlife scattered the remains. Because the location was so isolated and difficult to access, no one had discovered him for years. Thanks to Paul and his friend's chance ride that day, the truth finally came to light, and the man's family was able to learn what happened and lay him to rest with dignity. On December 9th, 2018, a hunter named Darren uploaded a video to YouTube, and it turned out to be far more unsettling than a typical deer hunt. It was the final day of the season in Manitoba, and with little success all year, this was his last shot at a trophy buck. While tracking, Darren noticed fresh signs that a large deer had passed through the area. But just as hope was building, a vehicle drove by, likely other hunters, and his chances seemed to shrink even more.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Frickin' road hunters.
Then, everything changed. Out of nowhere, a bullet whizzed right over Darren's head.
Oh my goodness, that bullet just came over my head. Sounded like a hit though. You freaking idiot. Oh. Man, I wish there were some bigger trees here. This guy's gonna frickin' kill me. He's shooting right towards me. Oh my goodness.
Someone had opened fire, most likely at a deer, unaware that another person was directly in the line of fire. Darren quickly took cover behind nearby trees, trying to protect himself from any follow-up shots. Fortunately, he wasn't injured, but the situation could have easily ended in disaster. Later, he told other hunters that the entire moment had been captured on video, and that he had narrowly escaped serious harm.
Not much, self? Not much. Taking pictures of the license plate. Is something wrong? Everything all right? Somebody shot at me. I got on video. Literally, a bullet came flipping right over my head.
Two shots earlier, right?
Yeah.
Around
Shot
4
at you.
o'clock?
Yeah.
Where
Somebody
were you?
walking down the edge of Huggins Field here.
Yeah, there was a guy walking on the end of the trail here.
So I was on the far side. Somebody walked down this side here, and freaking bullet. I seen a deer came out, and I seen the guy walking. And sure enough, boom! You can. It's probably on video too. You can hear the bullet.
No shit. Well, it wasn't us. We're over at
No, the first shot wasn't hit because half a mile later it was still way up in the air. It sounded like a hit. I know it sure sounded like it.
It did ever. Yeah.
This incident was a sobering reminder of just how dangerous hunting can be, especially in the final days of the season, when people grow desperate and start taking risks. One careless shot can change everything in an instant. In Fort McMurray, Canada, Bruce D. Allen uploaded a video to his YouTube channel showing him and his friend in a dangerously close encounter with a black bear. It all began when the bear suddenly emerged from behind the trees and started confidently approaching them.
Back. Stay. That's it. That's as far as you're going. Stop. Stop. Right now. Stop. Hey.
Go on. Go on your way.
Come on. Good.
The men likely expected the animal to pause and observe from a distance, but instead, it showed clear and persistent interest. They began backing away slowly, trying to leave the area without provoking the animal. Even though there were two of them, the bear kept following, step by step.
Get back. Get together, Greg. We gotta look like.
Let us go.
Stay together. As long as we look like that. Good. 2 rocks up.
Let us go. Let us go. Don't be looking like that. It's not nice.
At one point, they started scanning the ground for rocks, just in case they needed to defend themselves. The bear continued to trail them, jumping, and even attempting to climb a few trees, seeming momentarily distracted. Seizing the opportunity, the men picked up the pace and tried to put as much distance between themselves and the animal as possible. With just a few yards left to their vehicle, they broke into a run. After what was likely one of the most terrifying wildlife encounters of their lives, both made it safely back to the car. Sitting inside, they were in complete shock at what had just happened. This video tells the story of a content creator named Sam, the man behind the channel, The Northwest Wind, known for his peaceful videos about solo camping and quiet moments in nature. But one spontaneous trip to a remote piece of land near the Allegheny River completely broke the usual tone and turned into a night he'll never forget. In early November, Sam arrived at a secluded 2-acre plot of land, a place he had dreamed of buying for over 15 years. He planned to spend the night there to see if the land truly felt like home. He cooked himself dinner, watched the sun set by the river, and after eating, settled into his vehicle for the night, hoping to relax and make a final decision in the morning. But once darkness fell, the forest began to change.
There's a really up noise coming from the woods right now. It sounds like a woman screaming. I was sitting in my front seat with the heated seat on, warming up. It's been dark for a long time now, and it sounds like a woman screaming bloody murder. Listen. Literally, I'm freaking out right now. I don't know what the hell that was, but that has me absolutely terrified. I'm not lying.
At some point, Sam heard deeply unsettling sounds coming from the woods. They sounded like screams, not like any animal, disturbingly real and frightening enough to make him feel genuine fear.
Getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. Don't like the feeling that I have. I don't like that feeling at all, so we're gonna go. We're just getting out of here. Nope, not gonna stay. I feel very unsafe right now. I feel very, okay, turn to Creed. I'm listening to Creed. I feel very unsafe right now. Very, very unsafe. And I can't just peel out of here. I got to come down this half mountain road. So if I need to get out of here in a pinch, I can't.
Overcome with anxiety, he grabbed his camera, locked the doors, and decided to leave the property immediately. But escaping wasn't easy. The only way out was a narrow forest road with a steep slope. Sam felt like he had stepped into a real-life thriller, alone, in total darkness, with no way to make a quick exit.
And I had to switch back to get in here. I'm head in, so I literally can't get out if I need to. I can't see anything. I don't even want to have my window open in case of any Gibraltars out there. Just get me the out of here. And we're gonna, I don't know what the nope, not doing it, not doing it. That was a lady screaming. My doors are locked. I'm 100% sure of that. I don't even want to open my doors though. Somebody was walking down here and it sounded like the woman screaming. Somebody was walking just beyond it.
Farther down the road, Sam made the decision to call the police. He reported the disturbing noises, which sounded like someone crying for help, and told them he had a strong sense that something serious was happening.
Yeah, hi. I'm out in I was out camping and I heard, I believe it was a woman screaming in great distress.
So where are you, Sam?
I drove back.
Road. How far did you travel?
Probably a mile and maybe a little more. There's a property for sale. I'm truck camping up there because I'm supposed to let them know tomorrow if I want to buy it. And I all of a sudden heard this blood scream like 50 times.
Soon, 2 patrol cars arrived at the scene. The officers accompanied him back to the property and began searching the area. Their behavior was focused and tense, which only added to the sense of unease.
This is the most thing I've ever experienced while filming a video.
When they reached the site, they headed straight toward a nearby cabin, checking it with weapons drawn. Later, they informed Sam there was another house in the area they needed to investigate as well.
You want me to wait, or what should I do? Okay, well, I'm gonna. Okay, well, be safe, and I wouldn't feel right if I didn't call, so whether it's nothing or something, be safe, and Thanks, brother. Have a good night. Be safe.
He was given permission to leave, and so, Sam left the property behind. A TikTok user named Liam, known online as Wrigley720. In 2023, a YouTuber known as Under the Weather set out on a solo camping trip deep in the Scottish wilderness. He chose an unusual spot, positioned between 2 small streams, likely believing the water on both sides would offer some protection from wildlife. He set up his tent, settled in for the night, and everything seemed normal at first. But as the night went on, things took an unexpected turn.
A bit too hot, but right, so I think I'm going to go to sleep. And unless something crazy happens, I will see you in the morning. Good night. Oh. Oh. Good night. Hello? 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 The thing is, I'm kind of on an island here, so there's river on that side, river on that side. It's very hard to get down here if it's a human, that is. Typical, now I can't hear a thing. Right, I'll turn the light off. I've got a knife in here. I've got a knife. I've got a knife. Right.
Just before midnight, he was awakened by strange sounds coming from outside the tent. It was clear that something, or someone, was moving nearby.
No, because as I said, I'm basically on an island, so there's no way that anyone could actually get it. Jesus Christ! What? Hello? 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 Jesus Christ! Fuck that. Going to say, how did you sleep? I'm like, great. Like a psycho with a knife. Good night. Good night. Good night.
At first, he considered the possibility that it might be a person, but access to his campsite was extremely limited. He was essentially camped on a small island between the streams. Armed with a knife, he stepped outside to investigate, but didn't see anyone. What he did hear, however, sounded like footsteps, and at one point, something that resembled unsettling laughter. After that, he decided not to take any more chances and stayed inside his tent for the rest of the night. The next morning, while packing up, he noticed several strange objects placed neatly in a small pile near his tent. He couldn't explain where they came from and insisted they definitely hadn't been there when he first set up camp.
Looks like an owl. Or some bird who's become rather unfortunate. Yeah, that's why I brought my own wood. Hang on a minute. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Right. These were in a pile over there. And they're like just sitting on the ground. Right. I think someone's playing silly buggers. Like I said, for me to get out of here and well, I can still live to tell another tale.
What exactly happened that night remains unclear. Was it a prank or something far stranger? He still doesn't have an answer, but it's obvious that the experience left a lasting impression on him. In 2015, a video was uploaded to YouTube that quickly became known as the Russian Bigfoot footage. Very little is known about the clip itself, but it appears to have been filmed by a father and son somewhere deep in the Russian wilderness. From what can be seen, they seem to be tracking something and trying to capture it on camera. Whatever appears in the footage clearly doesn't move like a bear. Its movements are far too unusual.
Он, короче, опять на нас натур, наверное. Затми, если что, на YouTube выложим. Вон, смотри, что. Блин, ты сюда. Я боюсь. Вон, смотри. А у меня какие-то шевелит, мама. Я ничего не... О, вон, перебегается. Чучело. Смотри, ветки шатаются. Смотри. О, побежал. Я заснял его. Испугать его, пошли. Я заснял. Смотри. Ё-моё. Вот это килограмм 200 весит. Видел, как он своими лапами машет? Смотри, вон. 2 метра рост. Ё. Я боюсь. Надо отдать эту съемку в НТВ. Чрезвычайное положение. Пошли за ним.
Despite the poor image quality, which, to be fair, is pretty typical for videos like this, you can still make out some striking details. The creature moves extremely fast, has noticeably long arms, and appears to use them while running, almost in a human-like way. Even through the blurry footage, it's clear that this is something large and confident in its movement, not a startled or confused animal. Many viewers believe this is one of the most convincing videos ever recorded of a possible Yeti. There are detailed analysis videos where the footage is slowed down and stabilized, and once you see it that way, it becomes even more unsettling, especially when you try to imagine how big the creature might have been in real life. Late one night in a remote part of the Cumberland Plateau in Alabama, a home security system was triggered by unusual movement in the backyard. The homeowner, living on a secluded rural property, began receiving motion alerts from multiple cameras. What the footage revealed was truly unsettling. A pale, human-like figure appeared on several different cameras positioned around the property.
What is that?
It's probably that coyote.
Right there. What the heck?
Is that that kind of...
No.
That's not a coyote. That's a person.
Where's the dog?
Wow.
Well, you better go now.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. The rooster's not too happy. Where's the dog? There's the dog. Why is she in her freaking pen?
Ooh.
What the? Oh my God. Yeah, but you see where it's standing?
Yeah, it's looking in the window at you.
It's at our window. What?
It's a good way to get shot in the face.
And the dog's just staring.
So why is the damn dog not barking?
Its behavior was anything but normal. Instead of simply walking past or trying to break in, the figure was seen running, crawling, and weaving in and out of the tree line, moving in ways that felt unnatural and erratic. Even more disturbing, it was captured from different angles on different cameras over an extended period of time. The location only added to the mystery. The property is isolated, surrounded by dense forest, with no nearby roads or signs of foot traffic. It's hard to imagine anyone just wandering through that area, especially in the middle of the night. Some online viewers speculated that the video might be AI generated, citing the figure's eerie appearance and unnatural movements. But typical AI videos tend to be short and often lack consistency across multiple perspectives. This footage, however, showed the same figure across several camera angles in real time, which makes that explanation less likely. Other theories suggested a prank, or that it could have been someone under the influence. But as the video spread, darker theories emerged. Given the property's location in the Appalachian region, some began connecting it to local folklore, from cryptid sightings to legends of humanoid creatures. While these ideas sound far-fetched, viewers are still left trying to make sense of what they saw. As of now, none of the theories have been confirmed. The identity of the figure remains unknown. There have been no follow-up sightings, and no clear answers. All that remains is this chilling footage, something roaming through the woods in a place where no one should be. If they make even the slightest sound, the tiger tracking them could attack. Ollie Camping is a channel from India where the creator shares videos about camping and building shelters out in the wild. The forests there are far more dangerous than what most of us are used to. In this video, Ollie decided to take a bold step, not just build a shelter, but construct one in a tree and spend the night there with a friend, far away from civilization. And that's when things start to get truly unsettling.
हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक। आपका स्वागत है भाई मेरी फिर से एक और नई कैंपिंग वीडियो में। तो भाई फिलहाल तो मैं निकल चुका हूँ यार एक और नई वीडियो के लिए। और भाई आज की जो कैंपिंग होने वाली है वो एकदम पेड़ के ऊपर घर बनाने वाले। भाई आपने मतलब वैसा घर कभी देखा है नहीं देखा ये तो नहीं पता, पर एकदम ऐसा तगड़ा बनाने वाले हैं। 2 कैंपिंग होने वाली है यार, वंश भी आने वाला है। बाकी अभी गर्मी हो रही है तो यार चप्पल वगैरह भी पहने हैं। बाकी बैग में मैं जूते भी रख के लेके आऊँ क्योंकि यार शाम के टाइम पे वो ठंडा होता है इस वजह से। बाकी चलो भाई चलते हैं।
They began building the shelter, and by the time they finished, night had already fallen. They lit a fire, started cooking, and that's when the strange noises began.
पानी भी डालते रहेंगे। अभी तो शायद मेरे हिसाब से पानी की जरूरत नहीं है। का ढक्कन ऐसे करके रख देते हैं ये। तो चलो फिर भाइयों, आप सब्जी बनने के लिए इसमें रख दी है। अब इंतजार। बेटा आवाज जैसी आई ले।
बेटा ये तो बात की है भी शायद, बात की जैसी नहीं आई फिर।
बेटा
ये तो इधर ही ऊपर ही से आई भी कहीं आसपास से।
बेटा इधर आ जा बे।
बेटा इसको खोलता। हाँ रुक बेटा,
अभी चल जा। वीडियो ऑन कर दिया मैंने। ले पकड़ पकड़ पकड़। बेटा क्या खा ले है?
बेटा तेरे को तो कुछ नहीं होगा, मैं हूँ वहाँ, मेरे लगेंगे।
बाय गॉड, इधर साइड से आई ना, इधर साइड से कहीं।
अब सेफ लग रहा है भाई गॉड। वो फ्राई वन गिर गया यार, फ्राई
गिर गया वो। बेटा क्या होगा ले कर, उधर ही से आई बे, मेरे को तो वहां कहीं से लगी यार। यहाँ को तो नहीं है कुछ दिख भी नहीं रहा यार एक तो इन पेड़ों के वजह से भाई गॉड। अल्लाह करेंगे।
At first, they were startled, but tried to ignore it and continued with dinner. Everything seemed under control, until it wasn't. The sounds kept getting louder, and it became clear that something was getting closer.
अभी तक बाघ आग देखा नहीं है इतना। दोस्तों और आ गई आवाज़ और पास से आई है अभी। आप भी सुन रहे होगे। नहीं कहीं
यार ऐसा क्यों भाई, बार बार घबराहट हो जा रही है भाई, और तो कुछ नहीं। बेटा वो देख बाघ भी,
ये तो यहीं पे है।
बेटा कैमरा भी वही है।
कैमरा भी वही है यार।
देखो दूसरा फोन दे 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 दे,
इससे होगा देख।
खोल
बेटा यही घूम रहा है बे उस समय।
बेटा क्या करे ले, बेटा इधर साइड भी आ क्या भी, ये देख बेटा बेटा सांप दिख रहा है बे। बेटा कितनी पास आ रहा है बे, क्या करे बे।
डर ही नहीं रहा है बे, तो पास
बेटा यहीं पे आ गया। बेटा वो देख बे, वो देख बेटा वो देखो पेड़ के पीछे चला गया बे। दोस्तों बाघ नीचे आ गया उधर साइड पे, को क्या कर रहे हैं समझ नहीं आ रहा।
कैसे कर रहा है, आग भी बुझा दिया बेटा हमने। अभी रुक जा थोड़ा, यहीं रहो, खाना भी नहीं।
Soon, they noticed movement between the trees and realized this wasn't just normal forest noise. It turned out to be a tiger. They froze completely, trying not to move, afraid it might notice them, especially since it could easily climb the tree they were in.
मैं भी आ रहा हूँ।
बेटा जल्दी चल बे, अपनी वीडियो बना दे ना। ऊपर से हम गिरना मत बे।
After a while, the animal disappeared from sight. The moment they felt it was safe, they rushed back to their car. Luckily, they made it out unharmed. An encounter like that could have ended much worse. A guy named Anton uploaded a video about a disturbing incident in the woods to his TikTok account, Anton Raka. On his page, he regularly shared content about hiking, fishing, and spending nights out in the forest. On October 15th, 2024, he headed into a forest he knew well, a place he had visited many times before. But this time, something went wrong. After setting up his tent and starting to prepare his campsite for the night, an aggressive woman suddenly ran up to him.
Yeah? Leave me alone, please, okay?
Oh, I'll leave you with my husband. He's right over here. Maybe he's going to get that message through your thick head.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
hey.
okay. I'm just going to go and get him. He's going to kick you out of here in
go out.
seconds.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, and he just got out of jail. Ooh, he's going to enjoy taking a piece of like you right out of this forest, you idiot.
She claimed the entire forest belonged to her and her husband, and that no one else was allowed to be there. Anton knew that wasn't true and tried to argue with her, but she started threatening him, saying her crazy husband would deal with him. He chose to ignore the threats and kept filming, continuing to set up his camp. But things quickly escalated. As he was returning to his tent after gathering firewood, he came across a disturbing scene. The woman's husband was standing next to his tent, pouring gasoline all over it. Realizing the situation could turn dangerous very quickly, Anton dropped everything and ran toward his car.
I wanted to leave and I picked up a few things and started walking towards my car, but it completely ruined it.
But it didn't end there. When he reached his vehicle, he found the windows smashed and the tires slashed. The video cuts off abruptly. In the final moments, Anton can be seen running in panic, trying to escape from the aggressive stranger. After the video was posted, viewers began actively discussing what happened, and opinions were divided. Some believe it was staged for views. Others are convinced it was a real and extremely dangerous situation. The strangest part, Anton never posted anything again after that. On February 1st, 2025, a man named Andre headed deep into a harsh winter forest to spend some time alone and film a video. After setting up his camp and as night fell, he found himself surrounded by wolves. He later uploaded the footage to his YouTube channel, Wild Happiness, where he shares his life in remote, untamed places. He often spends time in the taiga, living and traveling close to wild animals. This time, he ventured deep into the forest on a snowmobile. Along the way, he showed his skills in hunting small game and preparing food in the wilderness. Once he reached his spot, Andre set up his tent, digging it into the snow, installed a small stove to keep warm, and began preparing food and hot tea. As the night grew deeper, he lay down to sleep and seemed to drift off. Then, suddenly, he heard footsteps outside. At first, they were faint, then closer. Soon, there were whimpers and howls. It became clear that a pack of wolves was moving around his camp.
Короче, друзья, блин, я же слышал. Капец, реально волки, друзья. Во-во-во, прям вообще хорошо слышно. Да ну нафиг, я, короче, домой. Пизду.
Andre stepped outside to see what was going on. The moment he realized how close the animals were, he quickly went back inside his tent. He decided not to wait for dawn and to leave as soon as possible, since he didn't even have a hunting rifle with him. April 28th, 2024, Japan. Hokkaido police released dashcam footage from a truck carrying two men. They were driving along a forest road in the early afternoon, around 1 p.m. At first, everything seemed normal. The vehicle moved slowly along a narrow road surrounded by dense forest, with no signs of danger. But within seconds, the situation changed. A bear suddenly appeared on the right side of the road. The vehicle slowed down and nearly came to a stop, and that's when the animal charged straight at it. The driver hit the gas, trying to get away as quickly as possible. The truck picked up speed and moved forward, but the bear continued chasing them for a short time. Fortunately, the pursuit didn't last long. The animal eventually stopped and turned back. It was later reported that the two men had been hunting in the area that day. According to wildlife experts, their vehicle likely came between a mother bear and her cub, which triggered the aggressive behavior. The video was uploaded to an Instagram account under the name Pasha Brill. According to Pasha, everything started with a simple, almost stupid situation. He was driving through a forest when he ran over a sharp branch. The result? A flat tire and being completely stuck on an empty road deep in a wooded area. He starts filming everything on his phone, with some footage also coming from his dashcam. At first, he treats it like a joke, saying something along the lines of, "Look how I managed to mess this up out of nowhere. No spare tire, no signal, no people around, just the forest, and darkness slowly setting in."
Колесо спущено. За час, который я здесь нахожусь, ни одна машина не проехала. Единственное, что меняется в этой ситуации, то, что начинает темнеть.
After some effort, he manages to catch a weak signal for a few seconds and calls a friend. The friend agrees to come, but it's about a 4-hour drive, and that's when things start to get interesting. The first clips are completely normal. He's just passing time, talking to the camera, walking around the car. But once the forest is fully covered in darkness, everything changes. There's movement in the bushes.
что это за херня была?
At first, it seems like a normal animal. Something runs across the road. He assumes it's probably a dog or some kind of wildlife. But then he notices the eyes, bright red, glowing in the dark. The figure stops right in the middle of the road, looks straight at him, and then runs off into another part of the forest. At that moment, he freezes. The creature is on all fours, but something about it feels off. The body is dark, almost hairless, and its movements don't look natural. Instead of staying in the car and waiting, he makes a decision he later regrets. He follows it into the forest. Curiosity takes over.
Работает.
Between the trees, those same red eyes keep appearing. The creature seems to be hiding, backing away, but never fully disappearing. At one point, it moves behind a tree and is suddenly gone, as if it climbed it or simply vanished into the darkness. After that, all he can do is re-watch the footage and try to understand what he actually saw. There are a lot of theories. The simplest one, it was just a wild animal, with lighting causing the eyes to reflect in a strange way. Maybe even something unusual, like an escaped monkey. It sounds weird, but at least it's a logical explanation. Other theories are far more disturbing. The chupacabra, the rake, skinwalkers. The internet is full of stories like this. In January 2024, a YouTuber known as Josh the Intern set out to explore the Pyrenees Mountains after spotting a crash site on Google Maps. His content is usually positive, focused on exploring hidden and remote locations, showcasing beautiful and lesser-known places. But this time, things quickly took a darker turn. Before even reaching the crash site, he noticed a strange structure that looked like someone might be living there. Even though the crash site was his main goal, he decided to leave the trail and take a closer look at the building. He was alone, in a remote area, and completely unprepared for what he was about to find. At first, the hike was calm and scenic, beautiful views, untouched nature, but then he noticed something unusual just off the path. It turned out to be the ruins of an old building. He approached it, and that's when things started to feel genuinely unsettling.
Definitely lives here. There's canned food. Someone definitely lives here. Maybe not all the time, but often enough, which is crazy, because this is really in ruins and in the middle of nowhere. Very creepy.
Inside, it was clear that someone had been living there. He found canned food and other signs of human presence. Not necessarily all the time, but often enough to suggest the place wasn't abandoned. And that's what made it even stranger. The building was in poor condition and located far from civilization. The moment he stepped inside, he felt a strong sense of unease, and the deeper he went, the worse it got. Inside, he discovered a huge number of photographs. They were everywhere, on the floor, on the bed, on the walls. The same faces repeated over and over again.
Same people. Look at all these photos. These are all photos of people. All photos of people on the floor. Tons of them. On the bed. I'm gonna get out of here. This is really creepy. I don't know why there's so many photos.
It didn't feel like a normal living space, more like some kind of unsettling hideout or even a shrine. The most disturbing part, the photos mostly showed women and children. Realizing he had never come across anything like this before during his hikes, he decided to leave as quickly as possible. But before leaving, he made one more discovery outside.
That is one of the creepiest things I've ever found while hiking. Someone is living in there, and I think someone is stalking people.
Next to the main structure, there was a smaller building. Inside, there was a bed and objects that looked like ropes.
After leaving that house, I feel like I'm being watched. All of a sudden feels very quiet and eerie around here. There's something really strange going on in these mountains. For sure.
After that, he began to feel like he was being watched. Despite this, he continued his journey and eventually made it to the crash site. Later, he posted an update explaining that he was so disturbed by what he found that after coming down from the mountain, he contacted the police and provided them with the coordinates along with all the footage. However, to this day, he has not received any response from authorities, and most likely, we will never know what was really happening in that place. On January 26th, 2026, a video was uploaded that started as a simple hike, but quickly turned into a real survival story. The channel Trail Off originally began as a basic vlog about hiking and outdoor life in New Zealand. The events take place in the foothills of the Tararua Range. At the beginning of the video, a hiker named Graham is walking through dense forest. At first, it really is just a normal hike. He passes under a massive tree and pauses for a moment to take in the scale and beauty of the surroundings. But at one point, a single mistake changes everything. After stepping onto a root hidden beneath the leaves, he feels a sharp snap and a surge of pain in his leg. He falls to the ground and almost immediately realizes, this is serious.
Well, I'm on the ground right now. I've stepped down onto a root and it's given way, and I've heard a snap either in the root or in my ankle, and now I'm in a bit of pain. So I guess this is a really good opportunity for me to document what I'm doing to get myself out of this situation. I want to be clear, this is not pretend. It's a real life survival situation now where I've hurt myself. I don't know how badly. I've already called loudly for help. No one has heard, and there's every chance that at 2:39 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday, there's a chance I might be the last person through this trail for the day.
Despite the pain, he stays calm and begins recording, fully aware that he's now in a real survival situation. He doesn't yet know how bad the injury is, but it's already clear that getting out on his own might not be possible. He calls out for help, but no one responds. At the same time, he understands that at this time of day, he could easily be the last person on the trail. He suspects he may have broken his ankle, and knows the pain could get worse once the initial shock wears off.
Basically what I think I have to do is test walking on it a bit. It's real sore. There's a branch fallen further down the track. I'm going to get my stuff, especially my PLB, and get there and get myself situated and reevaluate. I fell over there. The fuck? Like...
As evening approaches, the situation becomes even more urgent, with less and less time to decide what to do. He carefully tests whether he can put weight on his leg, and starts considering activating his emergency locator beacon. It's not an easy decision. He fully understands how serious that step is. He decides to move slightly, gather his belongings, and get himself into a more stable position before reassessing the situation. After putting on warmer clothing, he continues recording, trying to stay composed. He manages to contact emergency services via GPS and waits for help. As time passes, frustration and tension begin to build, but he focuses on what he can control. Then, suddenly, he hears a sound. A helicopter.
Stupid, but the second you see the helicopter, you think,
I'm in this clearing.
How can you not have seen me? He realizes help is close, but he can barely move to signal his location. After some time, a rescue team arrives. They descend through the trees and reach him. Medics examine his injury and confirm it's a fracture on the outer part of his ankle. Serious, but not the worst case scenario. He is secured in a harness and carefully lifted through the trees. The helicopter transports him to the hospital. Later, he reflects on the experience, emphasizing how important preparation is, the ability to stay calm, and the value of having safety tools that can literally save your life in critical situations. Joey Wilson is a family man living in Sacramento, California. He and his family have been living there for several years, and for the most part, life has been good. But lately, something strange has been unfolding around their home. Something involving a woman Joey refers to as his neighbor. According to Joey, an elderly woman has been repeatedly spotted peeking at him from behind the bushes in his yard. Concerned, he once called the police, thinking she might be lost or confused. But when officers arrived, there was no trace of her, no footprints, no signs that anyone had been hiding there. Still, Joey managed to capture something on camera.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's back in here trying to fucking find a way into my property. Do you see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how fucking scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
A face peering out from the bushes. The figure resembles an older woman, but something about her seems off. whether it's the pale skin or the unnatural way she moves. Because of how often she appears in that same spot, Joey even built a fence to block access to the area, but that didn't stop the sightings. Recently, in a photo he took, you can make out what looks like a hand resting on a branch, in the exact spot where the woman had been seen before. Some claim you can also see a face in the image, though that's up for debate. It could just be a trick of the light and imagination. But when it comes to the video footage, that explanation doesn't quite hold up. The movement is clearly visible, and according to Joey and others who've seen it, there's something genuinely unsettling about it. Whatever this woman is, and whatever she wants, the bigger question remains: why is she watching this family? In this video, uploaded to the TikTok account Trail and Flow, a dog named Moose begins acting uneasy about something hiding in the bushes in the backyard. The situation is a perfect example of why you should never ignore your dog's instincts.
Good girl.
Moose was clearly sensing a threat that his owner couldn't see. The owner later described the moment as one of the creepiest experiences he's ever had. The backyard was completely still and quiet, but an overwhelming feeling of dread set in. His hair stood on end, and Moose kept growling in different directions, reacting to the slightest sounds and movements in the surrounding nature. While wildlife noises are usually nothing to be afraid of, something about this night felt different, tense, and deeply unsettling. And the fact that Moose remained on high alert the entire time strongly suggests that someone, or something, was out there, just beyond sight. On August 18th, 2019, a heartbreaking incident took place in the forests of Portugal when a group of cyclists came across something truly disturbing. The video was uploaded to a YouTube channel called Animal Shelters Near Me, a channel dedicated to real stories of people rescuing animals. In the footage, a group of cyclists rides along a forest trail, but as they go deeper into the woods, one of them suddenly slows down. Something near a tree just off the path catches his attention. At first, it's hard to tell what they're looking at, but as the camera gets closer, the scene becomes painfully clear. A dog is tied to a tree. The rope is so tight that it can barely move. It's wrapped around the trunk in a way that leaves the animal almost completely immobilized. The dog can't properly turn its head, and the rope is so short that it can't even lie down comfortably. The animal looks exhausted and terrified, standing in the same spot where it had likely been for hours, possibly even days. The cyclists' voices shift from curiosity to concern as they realize what they're seeing. It quickly becomes clear that whoever left the dog there did it intentionally. Without hesitation, one of the cyclists steps in and starts trying to free it. His hands are shaking as he works to untangle the rope, and the moment it finally comes loose, the dog's body visibly relaxes, almost collapsing from relief. The video was later shared by a Spanish animal rights organization, which strongly condemned the cruelty behind what happened. They emphasized that it takes an extremely cruel person to leave a defenseless animal tied in such a way that it can't even lie down. On April 22nd, 2025, what seemed like a simple walk along a creek in Chihá State Park quickly turned into something far more disturbing and intense. The YouTube channel Exploring Alabama is known for taking viewers to abandoned places, small urban creeks, and forgotten trails, blending outdoor exploration with elements of history. That day, the creator, a guy named Jeff, headed into the national forest planning nothing more than a calm walk along the water. His plan was simple: follow the creek upstream, see what kind of wildlife he might come across, and maybe even find traces of the past, something forgotten or hidden. However, it didn't take long for him to realize he had forgotten his boots and was only wearing light shoes. Even so, he brushed it off and stepped into the creek anyway. As he moved along the water, he joked about potential risks, sprayed himself with bug repellent, and started turning over rocks, hoping to spot frogs, turtles, or maybe even a snake. At first, everything felt calm and even enjoyable. Under the rocks, he found small creatures, and sometimes just smooth, shimmering stones. But at some point, the atmosphere shifted. Among the rocks and debris, he noticed something unusual, something pale, something that clearly didn't belong there. Looking closer, he realized what it was.
That is a human mandible. That is part of a human skull.
A human jaw, part of a human skull. Those weren't stones. They were human remains. And in that moment, the quiet and peaceful creek no longer felt safe. Jeff immediately stepped back, marked the location in his memory, and called the police, knowing he shouldn't touch anything. Within minutes, authorities arrived. He stayed nearby and calmly explained exactly what he had seen and what he had not touched. As the officers began examining the area, it felt as if the forest itself had gone completely still. After some time, investigators confirmed that the remains belonged to a local man who had gone missing years earlier and was reportedly connected to a small, isolated cult. The discovery completely changed the way the place felt, blending the natural beauty of the forest with the harsh and unsettling reality of what had happened there. By the end of the day, the area was secured, and Jeff finally left, allowing the forest to fall back into silence once again. While hunting in the woods, Mike noticed something strange. It seemed like someone was following him. The video documenting the encounter was later titled, "Mysterious Man Stalks Me in the Woods of Dudleytown." At first glance, the man looked like an ordinary passerby, but the area was completely deserted, and Mike couldn't shake the feeling that the stranger was watching him far too closely.
Watch who's stalking who now. Who's stalking who now? Look at that. Do you see a person? Yeah, who's stalking who now?
At that moment, Mike had stopped briefly to change into more suitable hunting gear. The unsettling encounter left him with more questions than answers. Who was that man, and why was he following Mike?
Okay, ready? Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm crazy. Look at that. I'm by myself in Dudley. Look at that. Oh my God.
Justin from the Limitless Outdoors YouTube channel had the scare of his life when he came face to face with an entire pack of hungry wolves, completely unarmed. After hearing howls from a nearby mountain, he decided to blow his whistle a few times to grab their attention. Within just 5 minutes, members of the pack started appearing at the bottom of the hill, seemingly curious about the sound.
Day not to have a gun. Here they come. I don't have a gun.
At this point, most people would probably call it a day and run for their lives, but not Justin. Instead, he kept calling out trying to lure them in even closer. Two of the hungry predators locked eyes with him for several tense minutes before finally deciding to turn around and rejoin the others, who had already started to leave. I can only hope Justin realizes just how lucky he was to make it out of there alive. This video is from the channel Livin' for the Rut. A hunter was out on a routine elk hunt when things suddenly took a terrifying turn. At first, the elk began approaching him, but then, without warning, it bolted in the opposite direction. That's when panic set in. The hunters had no idea what had spooked the animal, until they realized a wolf pack was nearby. The predators quickly split up, circling around the men. Fortunately, the hunters managed to escape before the wolves closed in. When you venture deep into the wilderness, you're bound to come across something strange. A video published in October 2019, filmed on the outskirts of Perm, shows a cameraman heading into the forest and stumbling upon something unsettling. He comes across an unusual structure, sheets of plastic weighed down with wooden planks. When he pulls one of the plastic sheets aside, it reveals what appears to be a makeshift underground shelter.
Там что-то какой-то ход. Непонятно.
As he moves farther into the woods, he discovers another structure. This one is also built from plastic and tarps, but it's constructed above ground, suspended between two trees. A pair of jeans hangs from one branch, a plastic bag from another, and trash is scattered across the ground. Peering inside, he sees someone sleeping in the shelter. The cameraman quickly backs away, but before leaving the area, he encounters yet another structure. When he looks inside this one, it's clear that someone lives there as well, though no one is present at the moment. One side is camouflaged with branches, and clothes hang from a line to dry. It appears that a small group of people has settled in this forest, and there's no telling how they would react to a stranger unexpectedly wandering into their territory. What makes it even more unsettling is the location, deep in the woods, dozens of miles from the nearest town. Gary Reed's Unfrequented World is a YouTube channel that, at first glance, looks like a collection of ordinary outdoor vlogs and nature content. Gary goes on photography hikes and metal detecting trips, and he often spends time exploring his large property in the wilderness of northern Ontario, frequently accompanied by his family. But the calm atmosphere of his unfrequented world has been disrupted by something unsettling, a screaming, unidentified creature deep in the woods. Gary was born in the small town of Redbridge, Ontario, and has been surrounded by forest his entire life. In addition to decades of first-hand experience exploring the local landscape, he holds a degree in environmental science and has a strong understanding of the biological systems around him. Because of that, when he says there's something in those woods he can't explain, it carries weight. He describes the sound as a long, drawn-out wail that builds into a rising roar. The noise seemed to move across the entire campsite, shifting from one side to the other before suddenly going silent. On April 30th, 2020, he heard it again.
That sucks. Can you hear screaming?
The sound was almost human, but not quite, with distorted, unnatural tones.
Dish, this thing is still going on over here.
With his camera in hand, Gary cautiously moved toward the source of the scream. His trained eye noticed a strange break in one tree, along with several others that had been pushed over in the same direction, as if something had moved forcefully through the forest. Nearby was a tightly twisted cluster of branches, as though they had been contorted by immense strength.
There's one there.
The farther he went, the more signs of damage he observed, as if something large and heavy had passed through the area. Even more disturbing were the large tracks he found.
Not mine.
Which he believes may have been left by something walking upright. The prints didn't resemble typical boot tracks.
Almost see the toes.
After measuring them, he found they were significantly larger than an average human footprint. Still, there is a rational explanation. Rainfall from the previous day may have distorted the snow, making an ordinary track appear much larger.
13¼ inches.
Later, Gary set up trail cameras in the woods. Footage captured on March 3rd became some of the most compelling evidence. On March 7th, he and his neighbor heard another piercing scream, this time resembling the shrill cry of a child. Gary stepped outside into the pitch-black night and found himself alone in the forest.
I gotta turn the dish back on. I can hear whistling.
In one clip, a pair of glowing eyes can be seen behind him, possibly just light reflecting off his glasses into the camera lens. However, when they returned to the same area the following day, his dog became visibly agitated and refused to move forward, as if something unsettling lay ahead. The signs of destruction were easy to spot. Bent and broken trees lined the path. It seems unlikely that natural causes alone could explain the damage. Some trunks looked as if they had been grabbed and forcefully pulled downward. In one case, a branch appeared to have been twisted off and placed back into position.
That's about 8 feet. And it's got a good twist to it.
Despite the tree otherwise looking healthy. Elsewhere, a healthy green tree had been split clean in half. While lightning could theoretically explain such damage,
You can see the bark and you can actually see lines. Well, those are tooth marks. See all those little lines are tooth marks.
similar destruction appeared too frequently to dismiss. Whatever is capable of snapping trees and emitting those kinds of screams would pose a serious threat to anyone wandering those woods. And these events have unfolded over just the past few months. The channel contains over a year's worth of footage, documenting sightings and evidence related to the alleged creature. The creator of the YouTube channel Sidestep Adventures into History heads into the forests of Georgia and unexpectedly finds exactly what he had been searching for, an old grave hidden among the trees.
Some of the flowers sometime.
This has the bottom part of the writing on it.
Oh, yep, there it is.
It says, Mrs. Jane F.
Yep, there it is. Sacred to the memory of Mrs. Jane.
He carefully clears it off and respectfully reads the woman's name aloud. Beneath the heavy grave marker, he discovers a crushed bouquet of flowers left by someone who once cared deeply for her. The petals are in remarkably good condition and have retained much of their color. Finding relatively fresh-looking flowers at a grave that dates back more than a century is strange enough on its own. But as he studies the inscription more closely, he realizes who this Mrs. Jane is to him.
Stacy Duckworth and Samuel were my great-great-great-grandparents.
Wow.
So she was actually a half-sister to my great-great-grandfather.
He had quite literally stumbled upon a carefully concealed grave in the middle of the woods. Flowers lay beneath the headstone, even though the burial dates back to 1843. Then he makes an even more surprising discovery. The woman buried there is a distant relative. He admits that the entire experience feels almost like fate. It's as if the spirit of his ancestor had been waiting to be found. A viral video from Mexico tells a chilling story. It all started at a campsite deep in the woods, where a group of friends began to feel an unsettling presence, as if something was watching them. They heard strange noises and had the growing sense that they weren't alone. Around the campsite, they noticed unusual tracks. Wanting to investigate, one of them attached a hunting camera to a drone and sent it up to scan the area. After a few minutes of flight, the drone operator spotted a very tall figure wandering among the trees, without any light. The footage shows the group gathered at their campsite, and then, as the drone lowers, a disturbing silhouette appears in the distance, watching them. Clearly, this wasn't just one of their friends who had wandered off, so the question is, who, or what, was out there in the forest? On December 30th, 2022, the YouTube channel The Men's Life shared a disturbing experience that took place during an adventure in a wooded area, the location of which was generated using the Randonautica app. The app became widely known for generating random GPS coordinates, encouraging users to explore unusual or sometimes mysterious places. The channel itself focuses on outdoor living, forest exploration, camping, and survival tips. But this video took an unexpected turn. At first, everything seemed normal. The creator explained that this was his second time visiting the location, which, to his surprise, turned out to be an isolated cabin deep in the woods. He mentioned that the cabin had been built by locals to monitor wildlife, which explained why it was there. However, when he arrived, something felt off. There were items that hadn't been there before, suggesting recent activity.
Still there. The hell? This is straight up in the window. Okay.
As the video progressed, the atmosphere began to shift. At first, he heard voices coming from the forest. It didn't seem too concerning at first, since the area is known to attract explorers. However, he pointed out that he had previously encountered people there whose behavior seemed strange. They weren't exploring or hiking, just wandering aimlessly. That kind of unpredictability can be unsettling, especially when you're alone. Later, he heard whistling, and then realized someone was following him.
Okay. I think I gotta get out of here. I think there's one individual here somewhere. I don't get the sense that there's many, but I get the sense that there's like at least one. I don't see anybody. Oh shit! Oh.
Once he understood what was happening, he lowered his voice, trying not to draw attention to himself. That's when things took a truly frightening turn. He spotted a person in the woods, moving quickly and following him. Sensing danger, he immediately left the area. The risk in situations like this is obvious. Encounters with strangers in remote locations can be extremely dangerous, whether due to criminal intent or unpredictable behavior. Fortunately, he managed to get away unharmed.